Hi, Freeze. I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, on the Batman Retrospective podcast.
Adventure thing. Yeah.
I don't know. That's not. It's not Batman Adventures.
Did I add too many things?
Yeah, it can't be Batman Retrospective Adventure.
Okay.
We can say
Might
it's
be.
an adventure.
Yeah.
I am the GeekVerse's Travis Snow.
I'm also the GeekVerse Dylan.
Well, we've had people from Dynamic Duo. We've had Steven on from his own separate
that's fair.
podcast. So
That's
it's like, wait, doesn't have anything to do.
Anything that goes to the GeekVerse goes through me as well. Dylan Muss. Let's go.
Yeah, but you're by the time this hits, you would have been on an episode of Rant Rave Repeat as well.
Yeah.
So that means you're 2 shows now.
Yeah, but
You're not just
Rave Rant Repeat is like an extension
Rant
of
Rave
GeekVerse.
Repeat.
GeekVerse is the
banner.
It's the
True.
foundation, the building block, if you
True.
will.
Right. No, that's
the way
true.
I see it, at least.
Anyways, I guess we should get into Batman. So people
Yeah.
that are into Batman are like, oh, blah, blah, blah.
Who are these guys?
Exactly. So we are at the Batman Begins.
The Batman.
No, we are at Batman Begins. We're getting into what I think is the pretty good stuff. There's been a couple good ones that I like. I love the 89 Burn ones, and I love Mask of Phantasm, but we're getting into definitely the more modern ones. We're getting into the ones that probably a lot more people know and have seen. And transitioning into that, Dylan has not, he's known about, but has not seen this. So last
I
time-
think actually I have definitely seen I was watching it, I was like, oh, some of this is familiar, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
But this is my first time just sitting down and watching the whole thing, paying
Yeah.
attention to everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did this compare to Batman 66, which you were on the last time?
You could say they were going for different things, different thematically.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very different films.
Yeah.
Hard to even call them the same character, really, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I've loved about like the Batman retrospective. I tried wanting to do that. I kind of have had people on like Liam and Steve who are like big Batman fans, and people that are, and Taylor and Jeff that are kind of in the middle and read some comics here and there, and then people like yourself that Batman 66 was your full-on one, and then this is your full-on one too.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of people, I think a lot of people have seen the Nolan series and the Dark Knight trilogy, but
I feel like most people should, you know?
yeah,
And I just...
you haven't got
I
around
just
to it.
haven't, yeah.
But I guarantee there are still some people out there that have not seen it at
Yeah,
all, you know,
for
and
sure.
that's why I like getting into it. So, what are your first initial? Where do you want to start as far as your review or retrospective? Like, how did you feel going through? What did you like? What you didn't like? And then I have stuff on my list too, but we can bounce it back if I have something that I agree with.
Well, I think just as a movie, I like the darker tone of it as opposed to the I don't know what to call it, the playful, joking, lots of jokes and stuff that the other one was going for.
Yeah, I just more I'd say dated.
I felt like the movie, I was kind of confused at some parts, and then it kind of all resolved itself, and I felt like that was what they're going for. Like it was kind of very chaotic.
Yeah.
And that was the feeling within the movie too. You can see
good
from
luck
all
with
the
the
people.
next one.
And so, yeah, I just enjoyed it overall. You know?
What were some of the parts in the middle or whatnot that you were confused by, and then it got explained? Well, I was just wondering when you first.
Well, actually, for a while, I didn't know like if there was going to be like one distinct villain. So
Yeah.
like Scarecrow, like I didn't know
Yeah.
what was happening, and then when he first put the mask on, like I didn't pick up on it right away. That's
Yeah.
like some villain.
Yeah.
Because I don't know who that is.
You just thought the movie might just be him, just kind of being
I thought
Batman
it
and
might
doing
just
stuff.
introduce us, and then like the Joker is kind of what they're going into.
Yeah.
Obviously, they foreshadow it or whatever.
Yeah,
but-
they definitely do it. Though.
So I think that was kind of the confusion. I was like, okay, what exactly is happening? Is there a
Who's the
villain, or is
main
it just him
antagonist?
against like this drug kingpin guy?
Yeah.
So I think it was kind of that mostly, and then Liam Neeson's character. I'm
Henry
still a little bit
Deckard
confused, like
slash
exactly
Ra's al Ghul.
what
I can break that
is
down.
he like
for you.
a
So what
villain? Is he like a
happens-
villain from the comic books, or is
Yes,
he just
big
okay?
time. What happens is there is a guy, and it changes all the time. Sometimes Raz does it. Sometimes his character Henry Deckard, or I always Henry Deckard. I can't pronounce his
Who's
last
that?
name. That's Liam Neeson. He announced like that's how he introduces himself.
Okay.
It's Henry Deckard. Sorry, not Deckard. Deckard.
Okay.
And at the beginning, we meets him in the prison. So what his thing is, he is like, yeah, the main villain is Ra's al Ghul. And what happens is Liam Neeson is Ra's al Ghul, but you understood they just had those people like appearing. So he's actually the leader of that whole big group, the League of Shadows or the League of
The ninja
Assassins.
people?
Yeah, but he has like a fake leader. So if someone ever tries to kill that leader, that person gets killed, and he's still there.
Scapegoat, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what he is. And yeah, he's a big villain in the comic books. The comic books are a bit different because he has this thing called Lazarus Pit, and he's can be immortal if he goes in this pit before he's like a certain age. He just gets young again and whatnot.
Yeah.
They go the very realistic route with that. So like, there's no pits. He just crashes in a plane or a train.
Well, I think
sorry,
that's
but-
one thing that separates Batman from other superhero movies is that like people don't actually have a superpower really,
Yeah.
right? Like they're kind of just
well trained in something.
like they just have a crazy gadget
Yeah.
and stuff. So that's why like I was kind of confused like where his character was within the story.
Yeah.
And see, I think that was kind of like just the confusion, like who exactly is he up against? You know?
Yeah. Okay.
I think that was
fair.
the main confusion. But like I said, that was just kind of the chaotic nature of the movie, but it all resolved itself
Yeah.
in the end. You know.
Well, then we'll go a little bit by cast, I guess. So,
Mhm.
how did you like Liam Neeson in this?
I did. I like.
Yeah,
Liam
I guess
Neeson
it's
in
hard not
general.
to like him in anything, but like,
Some people, I feel like some people have a problem with him in that like does the same thing every movie, but
yeah,
I don't know. I think it's fine. So
I like him, and I think because he got a lot of comparisons after.
I think his
this
facial
role.
hair was pretty silly, but
Oh, so that's
I liked
out of
it.
the comics.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
so-
would imagine.
Yeah, so I think like lots of people compare him like to Qui-Gon and whatnot, but like the thing I like about Liam Neeson, I like him a lot. I can't say enough good things, but I think the most thing I like about him is as a villain, he's not.
He has
like,
a very good villain voice.
yeah, oh yeah, it's really good, and he's not to me. He's like he is evil, and he does have like a plan. Like obviously, he's pretty much just gonna kill everybody. Like that's his
Yeah.
plan. But like it doesn't come off as like cheesy. Like I'm gonna destroy the world. He has like a purpose for it. But the thing I like is that when to me when you meet him at the beginning, you're very much on his side because he's a friend of Bruce.
Yeah.
Even when Bruce turns on him, I feel like you're still like
He's just like he's essentially a teacher, right? Even though he's
Yeah.
strict on him, but you like him at the start. For
And
sure.
at that, you're definitely like, okay, like they went their separate ways, and that sucks. And like Bruce goes out of his way to save him and whatnot. But then I like that the next time you meet him, he's completely like. That's the thing I like about Liam Neeson. He's a great actor, but he turns it that you kind of hate him in that movie because he's
Turns
just
up the
so,
intensity.
Yeah, like you said, he's a good villain voice, like the way he pronounces things, and that's one of my main things as far as like a good note is I love in all three movies you'll see, but in these movies the script and the dialogue is so like crisp and slick and like there's so many quotable lines and from all these franchises, but there's just so many. Like the one I've always pointed to that Chris Nolan said was a lie when he knocks him in the ice and he tells him rub your chest, your arms will take care of yourself. That's a complete lie, but he said because he had Liam Neeson as an actor to say that he would make people believe that. So for years I believed that and I would not rub my arms when I was cold, so screw you Chris Nolan for that. But that's what I love about the dialogue. To me it's just so it's very so I love these movies because they feel like at the same time a superhero movie they feel out of place because I do feel like sometimes
I think it was
they feel too good for superhero movies because
it was good it's really good spacing with the lines too, right? Because like as someone like me who doesn't really have much of attachment to these characters, I just felt like what they were saying kept my attention, didn't go like they didn't drag on. And like I was interested and I cared, you know.
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah, like I pretty much just agreeing.
Yeah.
Who else?
Well, what do you think about just Batman in general? You don't have much based off because you haven't seen the other ones. Like you haven't, like, other than 66, but like we've talked about.
Well,
before.
I mean, like I said, I like the darker vibe of it more, which is obviously like what this trilogy is going for. So as a character, I like him. He's cool.
Yeah, and then
he's portrayed really well. Of course,
I love Christian Bale.
He's amazing.
I'm very biased, but he's my favorite Batman. Lots of people throw out the animated voice Batman. I can definitely see why they do that. For me, it's tough for me to put the animated one because it's just a voice. Like I say that with all due respect. Like I love Kevin Conroy, but like the thing with Christian Bale, it's the closest we've gotten so far to the comic book one, and I don't even mean that. Like I feel like it's really close, like almost spot on. Like
one thing that's like actually about him playing Batman is like you know, in like superhero movies, always like, wow, how can you not tell who that is? Like they look the exact same, but he actually doesn't really look like Christian Bale as much when he has like the mask on.
Oh yeah,
and all that stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's obviously like he still has like the whole bottom half of his face completely visible, but like he doesn't even look like that recognizable, really.
Well, it's good, and then you got like the eye makeup that goes over there. Like that's a good thing, but no. Like, they do a good job, because in the comics, Bruce Wayne is very much like that, the way he is in this movie, like, in public, that he's, like, a dick and everything, and that's my favorite thing about this movie gets to do it the most, is, like, that's one of my favorite parts of the movie is when he's, like, he says he's going to buy the hotel, and he's swimming with the girls and everything. That's one of my favorite moments when he bumps into Rachel, and he's, like, completely embarrassed and whatnot, because, like, when someone else sees him, but with that, and then when he, like, pretends to be drunk at the end of the movie, like, from a writing standpoint, that's what Bruce Wayne is. He's like an asshole, and that's why he does it, because
But he's always in control,
Yeah, and you're always supposed to believe, though, that the reason he's like an asshole is because no one would peg him to be Batman, because Bruce Wayne, to the public, is supposed to be like kind of a selfish prick.
Yeah.
And he's not, but he puts that out, so you're like, oh, that guy wouldn't be Batman, because he has no reason. He's just like this like billionaire playboy that just cares about himself.
Yeah.
So, no, I love Christian Bale. I'm gonna rave about him the rest of the next 3 reviews we do, but. He is my favorite Batman, and he's intimidating. With this one, the only thing I'll say is you'll see in the next couple ones, he definitely feels like he has Batman down a bit more, and obviously that's because he does it more. But in this one, you'll see in the next one, his voice changes a lot, and that's a complaint for some people. I like his voice in the next 2, but it gets a lot more growly and whatnot. With this, you could kind of see he was still trying to find his footing
balance.
a bit. Yeah, exactly. So. But my favorite scene in one of all Batman movies is when he's interrogating the guy and he has him on the bat claw and it's going up and down, threatening to drop him. And I've said this in many podcasts when he's like, "Oh, I swear to God, I don't." He's like, "Oh, swear to me," and he drops him and he just he's so scary, he's so intimidating. And that's what I love that he brings to him. Other Batmans, they've been close, especially Keaton, but he really feels scary and intimidating. And his whole message is he's trying to put fear into people, right? And you can see that out of this, So. What did you think about Alfred?
Oh, I love that guy.
The character or Michael Caine? Or both?
Both, I guess. Yeah. I don't know, I really like that actor. Even though I feel like I haven't seen him much. But I forgot that this was a Christopher Nolan movie, actually. I forgot that this was...
A lot of same people that pop up in his other stuff.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, I remember this guy from Inception. I remember that guy from Inception.
Yeah.
And that guy's awesome.
Yeah.
He kills it.
Yeah, no, Michael Caine, he's just a great actor, and I think this, for me, my favorite Batman and Alfred one. They feel really... There's really good chemistry there between the two.
Sure, yeah.
Lots of jokes and whatnot. And that's the same thing, too. I think same thing, you'll see... Dylan has not watched Dark Knight Rises yet, so he doesn't know, but the only thing I think the series gets a bad rep for is being maybe too serious. I like that, but, they still have jokes, and one of my favorite parts in the movies when Alfred comes back to the Batman, or just the mansion, and it's on fire, and then he, knocks the guy out, and he's like, "Oh, I hope you weren't the fire brigade." I like that humor, because it's one of the things... especially at the time when it was coming out, it was never going to be Marvel. It was never going to be like Robert Downey and Paul Rudd. I like them sprinkling in kind of a couple one-liners that are something funny, then just trying to be okay, this will be our funny scene. Because something that, if a scene was just overly funny, it wouldn't fit in this. In Avengers, I feel like you can have a really funny scene and it fits in that type of world. But to me, I like that it's kind of wisecracking or sarcastic. But yeah, Michael Caine's great. They feel like they have a really good chemistry, and they feel they know that they've he's actually raised him and whatnot. And what did you think about Katie Holmes as Rachel Dawes?
I thought she was alright. I don't know, nothing special, nothing.
She's one of the weaker points.
Nothing that made me dislike the movie or anything.
Yeah,
it was just
yeah, she's in my
fills her role, I guess.
Yeah, she's in my notes of it's all right. As far as it's in the middle. She gets actually recasted in the next movie. She's played by Maggie Gyllenhaal with Jake Gyllenhaal's sister, and she's a much, much better actress, and she does a lot better.
I would not have seen that coming, but okay.
Yeah, it is a little kind of good thing I told you, because it would have been what's going on here? But she's much better. She comes off a bit more stronger, and she's good in this movie for what she's supposed to do, kind of be the damsel in distress in a way, and they try to make her, I think, a strong female character, but she just, I don't know, it's the writing is not there enough, or the actress doesn't The reason I think it's the actress, because in the next movie you see that character be a lot stronger, and it's with a different actress, so to me it's she just could actually take those lines and whatnot and do it. So, yeah, I feel the same. She's just kind of meh. And then, he's not in it that much, I guess, and that's one of my other bad notes, but how he feels, I can never say his name right, but Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow.
That's the Scarecrow, yeah. I thought he did a good job.
For, what he was in there.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't in there a whole lot, but I've only seen him in that and Inception. So
I've seen him a bunch of little things. Have you ever seen 28 Days Later? Remember he was in that? I'm not sure if you've seen that.
I don't think I've seen that.
He's probably in a bit more stuff he's popped up in a lot, but he doesn't do well. He's not in that many as big things. Oh,
but I mean, even in those 2 movies that I have seen him in, he kind of plays, even though he's I guess he's not the main villain, but he's a big character in the movie, but he's not in a whole lot.
In this movie?
Yeah.
Well, he's very much he's kind of like a red herring. I think you're supposed to think he's the bad
I just get
guy.
He wasn't super intimidating either.
Yeah.
Obviously when he has the mask on, he hits you with this poison gas that trips
scary.
you out. Well, that's of course scary, but I don't know, he just wasn't very intimidating in general. But.
Yeah, that's in my kind of negative notes too. I don't have many about the movie, but it is just it's that. I think he is. I think he does. He's really good.
I think that isn't really an issue because he's not necessarily the main villain.
Yeah.
He's kind of just a side villain. So it's not really that big of an issue because he's kind of just a sidekick anyway, but yeah.
I just don't like at the end how he just he gets tasered in the face, and that's a bit about that's all you see him. Like,
Yeah.
he is a side.
Actually, I didn't think about what happened to him in the end.
That's my negative thing of like there's kind of still a big build up towards him still. He's still kind of like working with the team and whatnot, but he is just kind of like a throwaway character. And in the comics, he's like,
is he in the next movies?
What? Yes, but I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
It's not almost the same thing. It's never like he's never the main bad guy. I'll say that, but he's always kicking around.
Yeah.
So and he does good there, but he doesn't get a movie to be like kind of a shine. And I think the actor's really good, so I think it would have been good to see.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not even a thing that it's like really bad. It's just kind of a nitpicky thing of like even Gordon says at one point like, "Oh yeah, we got him locked up again," but it's just kind of like, okay, like it's one of these things like. He is there as just a side character to move the plot along, but I feel like he kind of gets forgotten a bit at the end as far as like, especially if it was a random dude, then maybe because it's a scarecrow.
Yeah.
So I'll go over a couple stuff on my list. I'll start with some good stuff.
Well, actually,
or bring anything up.
I was just gonna say like normally in movies like child actors are kind of they're not that they're not great actors, but I actually thought they did a really good job casting that kid. I thought. I don't know, just like the facial expressions that he made. Yeah. It might just be because of Bale who like matched up with him.
Yeah.
But like I thought they picked a really good job for that kid.
I always look after I watch the movie, and like I didn't this time, but most time because I think the same. Like, oh yeah, they did a good job, and he just hasn't done really anything after, which I don't know why, but like he was good. Well, I can start with that because that's one of my good things. I like how the flashback works as an origin, and it's not just fully like. Oh, here you go. We're going to start as Bruce as a kid and this and that. Because I feel like the whole movie then would have almost dragged and you would have had a lot of waiting. I like how there's spices
I think it kind of goes back to a little bit of the confusion I had where like they kind of have like 3 separate storylines going on and then they all match up obviously like about halfway through the movie.
Yeah, like
you know what's going on. But
like they start with him like obviously and that's what I have at the beginning. I like right away you kind of get that dark, gritty, like realistic feel with the prison scene. Yeah. It does not feel comic booky and that's when I think these movies in 20 years from now are just going to be looked upon as such a high point of the series. I'm not saying you could like other movies out there like Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm not saying that, but I feel like these movies really shifted them into the audience they are now. I feel like Avengers and whatnot does not have the audience with Batman Begins and Dark Knight because they just feel like right away it feels so realistic and it feels like you're watching a real movie. That's the thing where comic book movies now, good ones, feel like it's not... They always felt like comic book movies or superhero movies, where this feels very much like a rogue cop just dressed as a bat. Like it's really realistic and great. That's why I like the prison thing. It's just kind of like he's in prison and it's super dirty. Like he has like terrible facial hair. He gets muddied up. Like it's not like this guy that has like he's got like that happens a lot of times where there's a big fight scene and but the guy's hair is perfect or this and that. Like it's very like. It's very gritty and very realistic, and that's how it starts. But I like the beginning of, like, you get the thing of his journey to the League of Assassins, and you get his journey with the kid.
Yeah, actually, one question I have with
Yeah.
that, since, you always tell me how, like, Batman's one thing is that he doesn't kill anyone.
Mm-hmm.
What about, like, burning and killing all these people?
When did he
The League
burn
of
them?
Shadows, like, all those...
That was a mistake. The thing, when they were fighting, the thing, like, something bumped and went into the thing and it started to go. He didn't kill anyone on purpose, so he didn't take this torch and went, ha! Tsh, like, in the midst of the battle, it happened.
I got the feeling when I was watching that, like, he...
Just said, fuck it, and
I don't
took
know.
them all out?
Yeah, I was a little bit confused because he doesn't kill people and then he just, like...
Yeah, well, that's the main thing, like, that's the same thing.
I mean, he doesn't kill anyone, but he kind of uses loopholes, right?
Oh, he definitely does in this movie. That's my biggest. That is one bad thing at the end. Like, it all depends, because some people... That's the big controversy going on right now, that we haven't seen Batman vs. Superman. That's a big thing. There's a rumor he might kill, and we haven't even... I'm not even sure if we've covered that in GeekVerse News, because we're doing a lot of specials, but, like... I will not like that at all. And Batman has taken life in comics before. Like, I'm not an idiot. I know, like, Frank Miller's a big thing, but I feel like that's why I like Batman, is because everyone has their own idea of what Batman is. Mm-hmm. And to me, my Batman, he doesn't kill as far as viciously. Like, something like that, it happened. Maybe it could happen. It was an accidental thing, but nothing like he's going to take a batarang and slit a guy's throat. He's not going to, like, choke a guy to death. Like, something that he's going to try his very best not to kill a person. Mm-hmm. To me, that's always been my Batman. And lots of people be like, oh, well, he should kill or this and that. But I like that. I like because he has a code. To me, if he's just a killer, that's what, in the Avengers, like, they're not necessarily killing people enough, but they do just kill people. They just don't make a big deal of it. That's what I like about Batman. It separates him from other heroes. Like, he won't have a certain line to cross, and that's what I like. So in this, I give a pass. The one I don't give a pass to is the one at the end when he does. It is kind of wonky when he says to Roz, like, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm not going to save you either. And it's on the
I mean, that's kind of like, you pretty much killed them.
Yeah, it's that. See, and that's where I take a bigger issue with that one. The fight, I'm like, okay, that just kind of happened in the midst of battle, and some people died. Like they didn't have to attack Batman, right? If they didn't attack Batman, he could just walk over and be fine. So it's like that wasn't his fault. But with that one, it's kind of like. He could just, like, lock Raz up and then take him to prison. You know, like, he could have just, like, hit him with an elbow, knocked him out, and took him. So that was one where I was kind of like, yeah, like, that like, it's definitely, like you said, it's a loophole, but it's definitely more enforced in The Dark Knight. Like, as a little preview, that's a big thing with the Joker, is his main goal is to get Batman to kill somebody.
Right.
Like, he's just tormented. We'll get him the next time, which I'm very excited. That's going to be a long cast, ladies and gentlemen, so look out. But, but back to the flashbacks. I like that way of the origin, not just start from the kid, go all the way, because you get action scenes in the middle, you get, like, scenes about learning about Bruce as an adult, and you get scenes about learning about, like, Ra's al Ghul, like Henry Ducard.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, I mean, the whole movie,
with different stuff.
The whole movie had very good spacing and timing.
Pacing, yeah.
And, like, a lot of movies, when I'm watching them, like, I was watching this on Netflix, I'll see, like, oh, how much longer is this movie, or whatever. But this one, I was just content the whole time. I was like, I don't know how much longer this is, but I'm just down to.
It flows really well. Like
it
doesn't really drag at all, which some movies do. And I feel like, especially origin movies do. It's very much like I don't feel a drag, but like when you and I saw Ant-Man, you know you have to go through the whole like, okay, this first 30 to 45 minutes is just gonna be this character's learning and this and that. But I like the way of like, okay, Batman's learning, but then get a flashback to him as a kid, and then get the flashback to like his relationship with Rachel and how he almost killed Joe Chill at the church, or not the church, at the trial. You know, like there's stuff in between where I feel like if you put that in chronological order, it might kind of drag because it's just a bunch of. And then I'd feel like there's just too much action at the end because it would just go from like training to him being Batman. But I like the spacing. So that's one of my favorite things is how it's done as an origin story, and I really want that. Like they've said with Spider-Man, they're not going to do origin story because you've seen it. But if they did something like that in the newer one, because it's a new guy playing him, I'd like something like this where it's like not, okay, let's start from when he's not Spider-Man and go all the way. Like I like the flashbacks, and it felt, if it is an origin story, but it doesn't feel like it at the same time. It just feels like a character reminiscing. And the flashbacks felt natural, like when Raz asks him, like, why can't you get vengeance for your parents? And it goes back to the court and him getting killed. It's not just kind of like random flashback. Like they write it well enough so it makes sense. Like, oh, maybe he would be thinking about this right now, you know? So, do you have any note before I bring anything up?
No. What's next?
I just said the next one for me was just the emotional beats. It has like good emotional parts. I think my favorite thing is when his parents die, they make you really feel the weight of that. With obviously his parents die, and then he has the cop scene where the cop's like, "Oh, we got the guy," and Gordon puts a jacket on him. Like they're really emphasizing, and the scene later on where Michael Caine talks to him about his parents, and even the guy who's like an asshole, he comes up and he's like, "Oh, like your business will be waiting for you and whatnot." But I like that there's a good 10 to 15 minutes of them making you see that. How his life's changing, where I feel like maybe in other Batmans and other movies, if someone character dies, it's just kind of like, well, that character died and they moved on, but this was kind of like
yeah, like even down to the very end of the movie when you see him going through the rubble of his mansion, and then you see like the stethoscope.
And that's great.
Heard his father's heartbeat
flashbacks and everything. Yeah,
like they reference that one like a few times throughout the movie, but you can see that it's always something that sticks with him. It's always something that defines his personality.
And I think that's something that should happen with Batman, and that's something that they get to do a lot in this movie. They don't do it so much in other movies, but that's what I like about this one, that you really feel the loss of his parents, because that's the inception of this starting, you know, is the loss of his parents. And even then, just the actual loss of his parents, of like the kid crying.
Well, you get to see like how good of a father his dad was, really. I mean, you don't get to see much of his mother, but like...
No, especially when they're always talking, Roz just grilling him always about his father and whatnot, and his mother's just kind of there. But even then, it is still like... In other Batman movies, they usually just show you the whole thing of like the parents get shot and that's it. But I like a little bit more of the backstory and whatnot. I understand some sequels and whatnot.
I actually like, when I was watching it, because I'm not huge into Batman yet, at least, I actually like forgot that that's part of his story, that his parents get killed.
So you're like, oh no.
So, and then, you know... Yeah, like I eventually was like, oh yeah, I remember that. That's part of Batman. But yeah, like everything's going well. You know, you don't really pick up on it right away.
Yeah. I put the ice fight. I love the ice fight when he's training him. Like, these are just like bullet points, but like it's just a cool place to have like a sword fight. It's very much a
pay attention to your surroundings.
Yeah, it's very much like a tribute to the comics. Like they didn't have the shirts off, but it's very similar. There's a big fight that they have with their shirts off and sword fighting.
Classic.
But it's just like a fun scene and like,
sword fighting.
Yeah, it hits them. Talk about the flashbacks. Yeah, they feel natural. I like that also in the flashbacks and throughout the movie. especially when they show you that shot of the guy in the cage and they say like, oh, like he's gonna like have justice, and later on Bruce doesn't kill him. I like as a kid, and especially his conversation with Rachel about like, oh, the system being broke and everything like that. They clearly define the difference of revenge and justice, because it's one of those things when he does make the decision not to kill the criminal guy, you could see how he got to there. It's not just kind of like 1 second he wanted to kill this, like, like 1 second he wanted to kill his parents' killer, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, I want to just like, someone should go to prison and whatnot. Like, you could see something has changed in him, that he feels like killing is not right, and that isn't the way to go, because he's just going to be more angry, and it's not going to help the situation, and he won't be any better than the criminal he's fighting.
Yeah.
So I like that by the time you get there, and throughout the whole movie, because lots of times in hero movies, I feel like people say, like, if they're not going to kill, it's like, okay, but why does this character not want to kill? Like, that's good. That's like, you know, cherry points from my mother that like, oh, this guy's a good guy, he won't kill, but I want to know, like, okay, why won't he kill? Because
what's the motivation there?
Yeah, because there's superheroes that are out there like the Punisher that will kill, because he's like, you know what, I just don't think it's worth keeping them around to cause danger, and he kills them. And same thing with Batman, he believes that there is a justice, and there maybe is possibly a way to save a city or save a person with not killing them, you know. And that's, I like this in this movie. There's a really clear line, and it sets it up well for the next one, because it's all about pushing that line and how far Batman's willing to go, which you'll see. But it's a really nice, like, 1-2 puncher. Like, this, like, sets, like, oh, this is the line, and then the next movie is like, oh, do you cross it? And, like, do you have to cross that line? So, yeah, that's what I liked. I like that you get to show where he gets the gear. That doesn't really happen in a lot of superhero movies.
Yeah, that was good. There was a few scenes with chilling with Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, I guess we forgot to talk about him, but he's just good Morgan Freeman. He doesn't have anything to be like, oh man, great performance.
Yeah.
Like, it's not bad. It's not like amazing. It's just like what he needs to do.
Just a minor character doing his job.
Yeah, and I like too that, and it's like, obviously I've sat with the series for a lot of years, but I like that it's someone we know and a good actor, because because if it's not, I feel like that would lessen those scenes, because you kind of just be like, oh, okay, random like tools guy. But when Morgan Freeman, like, oh yeah, Morgan Freeman's like kind of like another.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Yeah.
But I like that you get to see where he gets the gear, and it all kind of makes sense, because his company at one point was working with the army, and they were making stuff. You know, it's not, they never explain that in the older Batmans. He just has a Batmobile, he has this, and you're assuming like, yeah, okay, he's a millionaire, but it's like, this is still like a Batmobile, or he's a billionaire actually, but it's like, it's still a Batmobile that has weapons,
and like all of that kind of ties into like, you could say the final battle where they have the giant microwave thing, right? And that's one of their inventions too. So yeah, it's kind of just like another theme in the movie too, right? They explain maybe not every. There's probably some plot holes, but like
there's definitely, but yeah,
they explain most things.
They explain the biggest things to me. And like, those are big things. Like, and the
one thing though I have to say about the Batmobile is when he was riding on that roof, I was like, no, that's not happening.
You don't think so?
I feel like that would I feel like he would just. I feel like that car is probably pretty heavy, and he would break through that roof.
It was a church roof though, so maybe it's strong. I don't know. I agree.
That was like. I was like, okay, Batman.
They get realistic as possible. Like, like, think about this. Like, there's that, and then Avengers, they fight aliens. Like, this is pretty realistic for like that's what their goal was. But like,
I know, I agree. I was just like, come on, man. Like, that's not gonna like just knock off the shingling. Like, you're gonna go through that roof, man.
Yeah, and I liked too that as much as this is origin story of Bruce Wayne, it is an origin story of Batman, and obviously I like this as a geek fan. But I like the beginning of him being Batman. You very much get. You get the one scene with him just in a ski mask and whatnot. I wish that's one of my negatives. Kind of makes him more. I wish there was a little bit more of that, because he has like trouble jumping and whatnot. And then the next time you see him, he's Batman, and he just like kicks royal ass. So I wish there's just maybe one more in between scene, especially because there's an animated movie, The Mask Phantasm, that shows that. But either way, the good stuff I really like is you see him putting together his mask. Like, they're testing it by like smashing it, and he has like the thing for his cape.
That's a good point. Like I don't like. I wouldn't even have an idea of how long. Like the timeline is of this movie from like when he starts. Yeah, like I
wish they'd be a bit more specific, because it's just kind of like he gets back to Gotham and bing bang boom.
Like, you can imagine like, oh yeah, he probably just trained a bunch. Yeah, but like, yeah, we don't really get a timeline. To it.
But I like the parts where
they don't really need to, I guess. But
yeah. I think it could help, but like it's up to the person and what they like. But I like I said, you get to see the mask. You see how they're like ordering that. They go like, oh, we got to order like 10,000 parts, so people don't think that something shady's going on if you just order one. Yeah. And I like when you see him like testing out his cape with like this glove thing. Like, that to me is like little geeky Batman stuff that I like, because it adds to when you see him fly, or when you see him use a gadget.
Adds to what we were talking about earlier in the realism, right? Like, you can believe that all this stuff is like a viable thing that he could be doing.
And you can see he's testing it out.
Yeah,
It's not like,
yeah.
okay, throw on and go fight a crime. Like I said, I like them testing the mask, and like when he's like, just don't land on your face, and that's the thing of like,
Yeah.
it's funny, but it's true, because like, yeah, if he lands like, and then eventually they get the better mask and whatnot, but at that point it's like, if you land on your face, it's gonna break, and like, so stuff like that. I like it's very much an origin of Bruce Wayne and just the Batman character like separately. So. Like I said, I like that he fails as Batman. I do like the reveal scene. There's a better one in the Mask of Phantasm, but I like that there's just a bunch of like drug dealers or whatnot, or a bunch of criminals, and it's a whole like they're getting swallowed up, and then you don't see him fully till he like smacks into the roof, and then he does like the I'm Batman part.
Yeah.
So I like that. I already said, I like Alfred being a butler, or not just being a butler. I like that he's helping out all the time, especially like when Batman gets hit with the fear toxin. Like, obviously, like the only one you saw was Batman 66, so like I guess he does help out there. But in other movies, like it's very variant. Sometimes
his wonderful disguise.
Oh yeah, sometimes like he helps, and then other times he's just kind of there in the older movies. So in this one, it's good that seems like he's always involved, and he seems like because he cares about Bruce, he's involved in wanting to make sure he's okay and everything's okay. So that's what I put there.
Yeah, shout outs to Alfred. He did a great job.
I already talked about fake Bruce. I love that when he's being like drunk and a jerk. I like the fear toxin scenes like all the way around in the movie.
They're definitely scary.
Yeah. Were you scared, Dylan?
Yeah, I was very spooked.
Yeah. Like, I like that they show you right off the bat. Well, I like that's kind of hinted at what it does, because he just sprays Falcone, and then you just like, you see him with the mask, and then they cut away and you hear a bunch of screaming. But I like with Batman, the second he gets hit, and obviously this is something as comic book readers you know what it's about, but if you don't, it's a good example of what it does when he hits him with it, and he just keeps seeing like bats and his parents getting shot and everything like that, and you can see that it like completely immobiles him pretty much. Like, he has enough strength to get away, but like he's not in any fighting shape. Like, he just has enough to save his life.
Right. And
then the next time, I love Batman, he's completely prepared for it. Like, the second Crane goes to do it, he just like pretty much kind of breaks his arm, puts it on, just uses it against him. Like, Batman will adapt like no other.
Very adaptive.
Yeah, but and then I like with that, when you saw Batman, when he got sprayed, and you saw Batman as like this cool like gargoyle, like green, he had like these like weird like not maggots, but this weird like ooze coming out of his mouth. Like, I liked that, because it was really like, because they easily could just said like, oh yeah, they get sprayed and they're scared, you know, but it's like it showed like something that they're scared of. So I liked that. I like the twist. Like, obviously I've seen it many times, but I still like the twist of Roz and whatnot. Yeah. As a comic book reader, I didn't necessarily see 100% saw it coming, but there's definitely signs. Like, I wouldn't have put mine on it, but with him having very similar facial hair and whatnot, and the fact that it's just Liam Neeson, you're kind of.
I kind of forget, like, when he left him wherever they were up in those mountains. Yeah. And I didn't really think that guy was going to be back in the movie.
Did you think
at first? Like, I thought like it was just going to be Scarecrow as the villain, but then he popped up. So
you just thought that was it, or did you think?
Well, because I didn't know
future iteration. You just thought, oh, he's just chilling there because Bruce saved him.
I didn't really know what I thought. I think I just was watching the movie and I forgot about him, and then he popped up again. I was like, oh yeah, I guess that guy's still alive. Turns out to be the villain.
Yeah, I talked about, like I said before, I liked it. I truthfully like the humor in it. And I like...
Yeah, not a lot of it.
But... No, but it's just enough. Like, I think it'd be hard to put a lot of humor in a serious movie like that, because then I think you lose the seriousness of it and, like, what it's trying to be, and it's trying to be realistic. And I feel that if there is a man trying to be a crime fighter dressed as a bat, I don't think it's going to be that humorous of a life. I feel like it's going to be kind of dark, and he's dealing with criminals on a daily basis or a nightly basis.
All of Gotham City is just a dark, dank place.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. Did you like the city and what? Like, you liked that?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, obviously, it's like pretty much like New York.
Yeah, that's my only complaint, is I like that it is dark and whatnot, but I wish they had more kind of stuff to make it stand out. Like, in the comics, there's like this big church with gargoyles on and whatnot. Like, I wish there was a few things that made it feel... And obviously that's why, because they're going for very realistic, like, comic booky, and that's what I hope in the next one, because obviously Batman's dealing with big monsters and whatnot, that I hope their Gotham is a bit more, like, something that, like you said, when you look at it, you can tell
kind of just, like, talked about what they needed to. So, like, somewhere at the start of the movie, you have Bruce with his father, and he's explaining, like, all these...
See, you forgot his mom, too. See, you even forget. Well, he's with his mom, too.
When they're on the train?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
His mom was sitting there with him. See, you even forgot about his mom.
Yeah, and so, like, Yeah, that when you're watching it, you think they're kind of explaining the city, but then that ends up being like at the end of the movie how they're bringing the giant microwave to or Wayne Tower.
Microwave.
The giant microwave. That's what they keep calling it. Like I'm not joking. Like I feel like they just called it. You just watched it again, didn't you? They call it the microwave.
Well, I don't think that's the official name, but they kind of like that's how they always explain it in a way.
Yeah, and then they have like they kind of talk about like the slum area.
Yeah,
and that's where that water treatment place is, and where like all those. Is that where the insane asylum?
Well, that's what that's Arkham, and that should play a big role in the movies you see. Right. Not coming up, but like even in the newer ones, Arkham it's not their jail. It's a place like it is a jail, but it's a place where the criminally insane go. So it's where Joker goes and whatnot, but it's a place where like. Yeah, it's not. If a sane criminal gets arrested, they might go to like Blackgate or something like that. These are for all the insane people, and that's usually why they escape because it's just an asylum and it's shitty. You'd think they'd put better security, but usually they're always escaping from there and whatnot. Yeah. So, that's what I've always. The movie I've still never understood, and I do understand, but I don't think they make it that clear in the movie. You got to put two and two together. That I think that the water that they're going after is a pipeline through Arkham or something like that. Because the guy, Scarecrow Crane, he's a psychiatrist / doctor there, so you're thinking, okay, he has function, like he has a way to get in there because he works there. But they don't ever really make that clear in the movie. They just show bad guys dumping stuff in water. And obviously it's in the slums, but they...
That's fair. I didn't really pick up on the fact that he worked there.
I know, they don't make that clear. I
thought they just brought him in for like some special case or something.
Well, that's what they make it look like, because they talk... It's first that lady doctor with Falcone, and then they bring him in. And yeah, in the comics, he works at Arkham, and he gets caught doing experiments on his patients. Very much similar. It's very similar. But yeah, they don't really stress that he works there. And that's what I mean with that whole water hole situation. There's only a few better lines they could have like written to make you know where it is and what's happening, because like I said, they don't really make it clear where that whole situation's happening. It's just kind of because they have that awkward scene of she gets in an elevator, and then when she goes down, like Crane's there waiting for her. So it's kind of one of these things of like, so he does work there, and like I said, if you're a comic book person like myself, you can kind of put two and two together because you know, okay, he works there, things like that. But in the movie, not so much. So
yeah, I kind of got the feeling that I didn't even know it was Arkham, but that was just kind of like the center. In the center, like on the little island thing, and then surrounded by the city, the New Yorkish city. Yeah, and that's, well, anyways, back to that, I feel, and that's definitely my negative notes, is I wish that the city, and obviously that's what they're going for in this movie, but in the future I want something, you can have the big city, but then something to be like, oh, this is a fake place. This place doesn't exist. You know, I want there still to be like, oh, that'd be cool to see in real life or something like that. Like, other than just the Wayne Tech or a Wayne Tower, I don't want every other building looking like New York or Chicago where they actually filmed, or Detroit or anything like that. Like, I want something more unique about it. So I think that'll happen later on, but I think in this series, because they're going for uber realistic, they didn't want to lay it on or anything like that. So. That's fair,
Let's see. And I've talked a lot about positives already, but I think one of my favorite positives I bring up all the time is Bruce's struggle with Alfred and whatnot. And one of my favorite scenes is when Ra's just burns Wayne Manor and whatnot, and like he's hurt and he's crashed, and you see that he feels like he's failed the city and whatnot. And it's just, I feel like throughout the movie, and even when there's arguments with Alfred when they're talking about like how far he's gonna go, when he's like, oh, you're out there pancaking cop cars or things like that. I feel that they do a good job of showing that it's a struggle to be Batman, where many films, many live action films don't do a good job. It's just kind of like he's Batman and that's part of his life, where I feel like Batman should be the biggest part of his life. I feel like Bruce Wayne is kind of the smaller part of like, oh, this is part of my life, but my main life is this. Like,
well, I think like it seems to me that in the movie they're trying to stress that he needs to keep up that reputation or something. He needs to show that Bruce Wayne, obviously to keep people off his trail, like that he's doing stuff, you know? And so they're trying to find that balance, it seems like.
And I like...
But it seems like that's all he wants to do is...
be Batman.
Fix Gotham.
Yeah, and that's what I like, because that's what I like about that last scene that I was pointing out. I like that you kind of just see him crumble, and he just kind of feels like he's going to give up until Alfred. Once again, it's a good chemistry between Alfred and him.
For sure.
But I like that it shows that that's the thing that's most important to him. And obviously it is, but it's not just, I feel, the reason I'm highlighting is that I feel like lots of times in superhero movies, they always forget to stress why certain characters doing these things. It's just, because that's what the story wants them to do or whatnot. And that's the first thing. He's like, I've kind of failed the city and I've let everyone down and whatnot. And that was his mission, to set out to change it and make it a better place. And I feel like I would like that more. Because even something like Avengers, Captain America is there, and he does it, and he says, like, this is all I know. So he's a little fleshed out, but most of them, you don't really know why he's there. Like, Iron Man's one of these things, like, I'd like more of, like, the first movie was like, okay, I'm doing this because I did a lot wrong with accidentally selling weapons, this and that, but now that that's all gone, he's just kind of hanging around, you know, and every once in a while I'd like a recheck of, like, why is Iron Man still there and doing this, you know? Like, he doesn't need to, there's a whole team, like, I know he can help, but then that's what I mean, like, he doesn't come to retirement or anything, where I feel like in each movie they do stress why Batman needs to do it. Some better than others, but in this one I feel like you can get the sense of, like you said, that is his main goal. Like, this is what he wants to do, and that's what his goal is. But in other movies, especially older Batman's, it's kind of like he's Batman, and they do the whole duality thing. He's Batman and Bruce Wayne, but there's no, like, importance to it. So, as far as negatives, I kind of brought them up throughout. Literally I brought them up as much. Like, I don't have that much. I really like the Nolan series. I talk about it a lot. But yeah, I brought, like I said, Scarecrow wasn't used as much as I would like. Katie Holmes isn't the greatest. I would like to see Batman fail a little bit more in the beginning. I guess that's what we forgot to talk about. How did you like Gary Oldman as Gordon? I guess I forgot to talk about him, because he's not in it that much. In the next two movies, he plays a huge role. But yeah.
I mean, I feel like there wasn't, like, a whole lot of depth there, you know, just, like, in terms of, like, a dynamic character or changing or anything. Yeah. But he was just a nice guy, you know. Yeah. Well, and it seems like he's one of the few, because it's like the whole police force is kind of pretty corrupt in Gotham. Yeah. And the judges and everything, like, the whole place has just gone to shit pretty much. But he is kind of like the one beaming light of positivity within there, and it's good because at the end he gets, like, a promotion or something like that. So
he's sergeant now, and then eventually he'll become Commissioner Gordon. But
okay.
You'll see. But no, I like that. Like the two things pointed out, I love the scene where he goes to see Falcone, and he's pretty much just like, I can shoot you right here. There's, like, two lawyers over there, a judge. He's like, that's power you can't buy. And I guess I didn't put that in my notes, and it's just something like we've talked about a little bit. I do like that they talk about how scummy Gotham is, because same thing, lots of heroes be like, I need to save the city, but it's like, why? Especially when you have something like in Spider-Man, you have maybe a few bad guys, and then you have one main bad guy, but it's kind of like, well, when you beat that main bad guy, shouldn't you be done being Spider-Man, you know, because it's like that's the main threat. Where I like with Batman, it's not so much there's just one main threat. Obviously, at the end of the movie, there is a main threat, but throughout, because even then, you weren't even sure if there was going to be a main threat. You just kind of thought maybe he's just beating up this scum.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the movie, toward the end, like, even before they have the, like, Joker reveal, like, you still feel like he still has to do something in Gotham. He still has to change stuff. Exactly. He just did, like, that's a good Batman point. Begins, right? He just did the first step, right?
Yeah, and there's so much more.
But then they introduced the Joker, and then obviously he'll be the next.
Oh yeah, big time. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Because many times at the end of superhero movies, I feel like you beat the main bad guy, and it's like, okay, well, you should be done, right? Yeah. Like, there's no other danger where they do that thing of setting up. There may be a main bad guy, but there's still just so much dirt that
there's always an underlying theme of, like, this place is still
not good. Yeah. And like, then back to what you're saying,
we need more Gordons.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say, the thing with Gordon. I like that they do the same thing at the beginning when they show, it's only a small scene, but they show Batman, he's sitting on the ground, he has all these files around him, and he has the Gordon thing and whatnot. And there, like you said, in this movie, there's not much depth to Gordon. He has big, like, huge roles in the next two. Like, he's a main character, and he has, like, changed there. But I think with his character, I think you didn't need to see a change, because I think this one, more than the other two, Batman's obviously a big role, but this one, to me, is just about Batman and his journey. So it's one of these things, if not every character needs to have, like, a change. I feel like a main character, like, it's great if they do, but I feel like your main character specifically, especially with this one, Batman Begins, it makes you care and understand Batman. You kind of want to go on his journey. That's why I guess some people, that's some of their swipes again, like Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, that like, oh, the villains just, they're in it so much and blah blah. But I kind of like that, because I feel like Batman Begins is, okay, you set him up for that. Now you know who he is, and you still get development in those other movies, but you know who he is, and now you get to see him go up against more evil forces. And that's with Gordon. I felt like you didn't need to develop him that much, because they do it in the later movies, but then it's like, to me, it's Batman's story, and you're following Batman, and then because he doesn't really need Gordon that much in this movie. Like, Gordon's there when he needs to be. and that's about it. And to me, you do get development of, like, he's a good guy, but one of the best scenes in the series is, and it's just a touching moment, that's why I love it's so well written, is when Bruce is there and Gordon offers him the code and whatnot. It's one of these things, right away you know that this guy's really kind-hearted and good-hearted and he means well, and then years later Bruce remembers that. So yeah, Gary Oldman's great. So
yeah, he killed it for sure.
Yeah. Was there any other thoughts you want to say before we kind of?
I was just thinking that we didn't mention the Batcave. The Batcave is pretty badass. It's pretty awesome.
I think so.
What do you think?
Yes and no. What do you tell me what you think's badass about it, and then like
it's actually just like a gigantic cave, and there's bats everywhere.
True. No, it's
dark. There's a waterfall to exit. I don't know. I think it's awesome. He has to take a big jump to get out.
That I think is cool. I love the waterfall thing. No, with me, I actually like that Batcave a lot because it is realistic. I talked about this on a cast a couple times ago in the Batman Retrospective. I'm waiting in the comics to... And Batman, what he does, because he's kind of like a serial killer, he keeps trophies from his villains. So, and I don't expect them all, because some of them are like, why would Bruce Wayne put this in his cave? Like, at one point, in the comics, he has literally, like, a coin the size of a house. And it's a coin that Two-Face used in a crime and whatnot. But it's one of these things where that stuff I understand we don't need, because it's kind of like, why is Batman taking this with him? Or, like, how does Bruce Wayne sneak this gigantic coin in the Batcave? But... other than that, and at one point he does have like a big dinosaur in there, like a statue dinosaur someone uses. Like, he has trophies, so I don't expect that stuff in the movies, but I want a bit more of a geeky thing. Like, he has the cool waterfall in the cave and whatnot and the computer, but in the comics he does kind of have, like, he has where his suits are, and he has, like, villains, like, he has the Joker's card in a little case and stuff like that, and I think they're going to be doing that in the newer movies. I don't know how much. So
that's fair. You kind of just see the cave, you don't really see much of, like, his whole workshop and whatnot.
And that's what I like if there was, like, inventory.
You kind of get the feeling that, like, a lot of this stuff is just because he's getting it from Wayne Tower, right? In that
which is true.
Place, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
Which is true, but it's just... I like it a bit more fleshed out, and the thing is, it's never really like that too much.
You only get, like, now that I think about it, you only get, like, one scene where he opens up, like, the whatever cabinet thing you see his suit, right? Like, you only see that once for, like, it's a very quick scene.
Oh, yeah. And then in the next one, you get to see a bit more of the arsenal, but it's not in the Batcave because the house burnt down. So in this movie, in the next movie, they're fixing it. So he's not at his house or the Batcave at all. So he has an area where he kind of sneaks into, and it's cool, but it's the same thing. You never get a really cool, like, a bunch of weapons, not weapons, but a bunch of gadgets, a bunch of suits, things like that. Like something, but that's something, once again, that is comic booky. So that's why it's not a major complaint. It's just a nitpick of, like, I really like the Batcave, but it's not too comic booky. But that's stuff that I can be like, okay, whatever. But no, I like, that's what I was gonna say. I like the trapdoor to get into the Batcave, that he has to play the piano, like, these few notes and whatnot. I
didn't even pick up on that, honestly.
Oh, you did? At one point when he's...
I was wondering, when the house is on fire...
Yeah.
Like, I think I, like, looked away or something, and then I caught that someone, like, dwiddled on the piano before they ran out of the Batcave. I was like, the heck? That's kind of weird. Yeah. So I didn't go back and watch it. I didn't pick up on that, actually.
He plays a certain, like, 3 notes, and it opens up this trap door.
Yeah.
And then he goes in there, which I like, because in some other Batman movies, older ones, it's very obvious where the Batcave could be. And I
lift up the statue head, hit the button.
Yeah, hey, that's better than some of them,
that's
to
a good
be
one.
honest.
That's a good one, yeah.
But I like that, and I guess the only concern would be, like, I hope someone never accidentally plays those 3 notes, and that's like, oh shit.
Yeah, that better not be part of a popular song.
Yeah, I hope not. Bruce is like a Beethoven song or something. But no, so I like that, and because the very first time they do it, he says to Alfred, he says, like, oh, go tell that joke, and then he quickly does, and then he goes in there. So another bit of humor in there. So. Okay. Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to bring up?
I don't think so. I think we covered everything.
So what are your feelings so far now about just Batman the character in general? And and this is good because what are you looking forward to in the next one? But, like, because you don't know much experience with Batman. All you've kind of heard, especially the past year, Kirkland rave about him and these movies.
Well, I think one thing I didn't really realize about Batman is that, like, well, I always knew that he didn't actually have, like, a superpower. He just kind of has, like, all these gadgets and
and prepared for anything. Anytime something
pops
up,
guy.
He's like,
but, like, none of his villains, none of the villains either. Like, they don't have powers either, right? Like, they're just also...
In the comics, they do.
Okay.
In the comics, he fights, like, a human crocodile. Like Ra's al Ghul is more... Scarecrow, random dude. Like, random dude
the Joker, I imagine, doesn't have any powers.
No, he's just insane.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's with this... said, like even Batman 60 whatever that we watched, I don't think none of them had powers.
No, it's true.
So I don't know. I think that's.
You didn't know that about
I don't
villains,
remember why I brought this up, but
because you were talking about you're saying that the thing you didn't know about Batman, you said he didn't have powers, but I think you're talking about that.
Well, I don't know. I think it's. I like it. I think it's a cool guy.
I think the thing I've always liked about Batman is, and this is why you guys give me a lot of crap on the cast, but it's definitely because I've read comic books, but he is a guy that seems prepared for anything.
Yeah.
Like doesn't have a guy that has a plan B. He has a plan B all the way to Z.
He'll never get stumped by the same trick twice.
Yeah, exactly. Or even if something does happen, he finds a way out of it. You know, he's still the same thing. Like this train's happening, it's kind of like, okay, I should bring Gordon in and help him out. Like it's always
he learns. Yeah, he takes his losses and earns something out of them. Yeah,
and he wins a lot though too.
Yeah, he has a pretty good win rate.
Yeah, you'll see. In the next one, he does but that's why I like it's the character as far as written in the comic books. It is kind of he doesn't have a superpower, so he has to go about it a different way.
Yeah,
and that's what I like about it. And then what are there some key things or something you're looking forward to in the next one, or what do you like?
Well, I mean, obviously that Dark Knight is I think it is your favorite movie.
It's mine and Kirkland's favorite movie all the time.
Yeah, so I mean, as two good friends of mine, and obviously everything there is to know about movies,
and the highest rated comic movie all time Rotten Tomatoes.
I mean, it's just a movie that everyone's always talked about, and I don't know why I haven't seen it. Really, I have no reason not to. So I'm excited for it. I'm probably gonna watch it pretty soon here, actually, because I want to see what I've been missing. For some reason, I just haven't looked up.
Let's see, The Dark Knight is 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's the highest superhero movie all time.
How about the third one?
What? It's 87.
Okay.
That one has the third one's still really good follow-up, but it has kind of more a few plot holes or a few things that's kind of that's kind of it's it depends. And when you go when we get there, and I'm not sure whether you'll be on the cast when you do that, or even just when you watch, I'll fill you in my opinion why I don't give that movie as much as credit, or not as much as crap as other people do.
Yeah.
But still, this is 94. I'm pretty sure Batman Begins will be 90 something. It's one of these things. It's pretty good. The weakest movie in your series to be 87%. It's still
pretty good, yeah.
And plus, I think it's another thing that's an ending. So it's a lot of people. An ending to a franchise, you either like it or don't. It's the same way I feel with Lord of the Rings. Either that's Return of the King's your favorite, or it's it's not. But
I think just to answer your question, I think I'm looking forward to the Joker, because obviously that's what everyone talks about. So I just want to see.
I was surprised it was only actually 85. Batman Begins. I thought it was a lot higher. So I guess that's the weakest one, but that to me is wrong.
It's still good.
Batman Begins is way better than Dark Knight Rises. Not way better, but I just feel it's better. That's what I was gonna say. How many batarangs? How many
batarangs?
Yeah, how many piano keys would you give?
How many bat ladders?
Yeah, how many bat ladders out of 10 would you
Actually,
give?
well, I mean, they didn't have any bat ladders in this one, so I definitely have to dock it at least 5 points.
5 points? So it's a...
let's see. I think it's definitely a movie that I'm going to need to see again before I can, stamp on it, but for now I'll give it a preemptive... I'll give it 8.5.
Okay.
I'll give it what that review just said.
That's fair. No, and I think so, especially to...
Maybe a 9, because I do like the actors.
Yeah.
Stuff.
I think when you see it again, you will like it a lot more. It's a movie that, to me, and that's where, when I say about Dark Knight Rises, it's one of those when you watch it more, there's a couple plot holes that stands out. But this, for me... The tightness of it and the way it's done, especially when now Liam Neeson comes back as a bad guy. The more you watch it, I feel like you like it. In my opinion, it's just my opinion. For me, it's a 9.5. It's really close to a 10. Dark Knight, I've already spoiled this. That's a 10. I spoil this all the time.
Yeah.
That's a 10 out of 10 movie. For me, this is very close. There's a few things, like I said, maybe Scarecrow not being used, and maybe a couple scenes could have added, and like I said,
but overall, I mean, as a starting movie, it sets a really good tone, spacing, and sets the dark, chaotic world that you're in, introduces most of the characters at least.
Yeah, and I like that, especially back then. Obviously, it was a simpler world, but now with Avengers and everything else, you're so used to they got to do so much to set up the next movie, and it's all these plot lines unleft. But I like that the simplicity of he gives him a card, he flips over, and you know what it is. It's not one of these things you need to be like, oh, he's killing people on base. It's one of these things, hey, this guy's a problem, and you flip over a card, you see the Joker. It's one of those for me when I saw it the first time, and especially because Joker is tied with Batman's favorite character, it's kind of one of those bone chill moments. Oh man, this is where we're going next. And it's a good next step because it's kind of one of these things of, like we said, he's still in the midst he even says, like, I'll look into it, because he's still in the midst of just crime fighting, but it's one of these things that later on there's going to be a big evil. It's not something that, like, all of a sudden now there's a huge big bad guy. Like, Joker has a progression, too, in the movie.
For sure,
yeah. Well, that is what we thought about Batman Begins. Where can they find us on the interwebs?
On the interwebs, you can find us on one site named Facebook. If you search GeekVerse Podcast,
What?
There you will find all sorts of news. All the casts get posted there. It's a great time.
Mm-hmm.
Throw us a like.
Is this on Facebook?
That's on Facebook.
Yes, and then follow us on Twitter. We're officially at 100, 101 at the time of this recording. Could be more. Point is, I beat Taylor to 100. Very happy about that.
Congratulations, Travis.
Yeah. Yeah. What?
That's I don't know if you said Geek First Cast.
I'm about to.
Okay.
Jeez.
Yeah. Twitter's your thing.
Follow us at exactly. Follow us at Geek First Cast. SoundCloud if you're listening through an app on your computer for Android listeners. iTunes, make sure you subscribe for specials like this for our Batman retrospective. We got two more, and then Batman vs Superman is here, and then I have a feeling. That's going to be a fun review. I feel like that'll be
a fun-filled episode.
I feel like that's already, just from the trailers, it looks like that's going to be very controversial. I feel like that'll be a reverse of Star Wars, when we're all like, oh my god, I feel like this is still going to be like, oh, that was good. Like, we all hope it's good. But I just have a feeling it's going to be, it looks like a movie that there's a lot of talking points.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, so that's what the build-up to this is. It's very soon, so go back and listen to all our other Batman retrospectives. Dylan was at the very first one, 66, and we're going all the way from there until Dark Knight Rises, and then we'll have our Batman vs Superman. We got Rant Rave Repeat, got Dynamic Duo, we got a bunch of other GeekVerse stuff going on. Every Saturday is our regular flagship show, GeekVerse, whether we're breaking down news or doing top 10 lists. We're just kicking it old school.
Good content.
Yeah.
Hashtag Save Hannibal.
Hashtag Save Hannibal.
Thanks for listening.
Exactly, and same bat time, same bat channel. This comes out every Tuesday, so...
End it with a...
Yeah, I don't know why.
Sometimes you gotta end it with it.